Hello and welcome back to Yellow Pine on City Skylines 2. And oh my goodness, I thought our village was starting to grow, but we have exploded from last episode with our new build development here. And if you thought the developments we've made so far have not been enough, then you are in for a treat today. And that's because I am eyeing up this entire area along the river for one single very special reason. And that's because I want to start developing our capital city today. And I think this area will make a really good place for it. It's relatively flat compared to the other side of the river. See, look at this, guys. I told you we would not be able to build a capital here if we wanted accessible waterways. And so I think towards the end of this valley will be the best place for it. And I've been motivated and inspired to do so from one of you guys once again giving me an amazing recommendation on Reddit. And so what exactly did you say to me? Well, you've said that you want me to make a weird rich enclave suburb that gets surrounded by a city. And you want that city to then be surrounded by a super American style suburb. And you want the city to grow and become dense around this very wealthy enclave with a few little challenges along the way. We have ourselves great road connection, great rail connection, and obviously the water access. So let's get started. Now, taking a look at this area, we have quite a few options as to where we want to begin. I personally envision this whole zone being engulfed by a really big capital city, with this side of the river containing our hub, so all of our skyscrapers in office district and everything like that on this side, with maybe a bit more of a commercial district on this side here, but then all of our sprawl from high density to medium density to low density is going to empty into this whole area here. Now, to start off with our capital city, we want to create from our prompt a weird rich enclave, and it's been specified it's going to be a suburb. And so although this is going to be where our main capital is, we're going to begin here building out some suburbs. And so I think it makes sense to buy a couple of tiles here alongside these also to expand our suburbia eventually and also provide a connection point to the highway. So we're going to purchase these for a cool $1.1 million. And here we are, the beginnings of our rich suburb. And you know what, guys? I'm actually going to get this tile as well because we have the money. And I think it will give us a little bit more flexibility with what we're going to be doing. We're going to begin with a square in the middle. It's not going to be too big. We're going to stretch it out by something like 96 meters each way to make the perfect square. We're going to grab ourselves the passage park and we're going to build 4 of these coming out in each direction. And then from here, we're going to develop another road system that's going to basically surround it. And just looking at the development we've already made, I'm actually going to expand this even more. We're going to stick roundabouts at every corner here and bring ourselves roads in every direction. In the center here, we're going to stick ourselves a small plaza alongside a couple of small parks. We're going to use the surfacing tool here to basically cover every last bit of grass in this area, because God forbid we compromise the integrity of our beautiful lawn here. And I actually think this has kind of turned out quite nicely. We're going to add some beautiful flower bushes along here to really enhance the biodiversity in this area, which I think is very much necessary considering how much deforestation we've had to perform just to create this area. And now we can actually start creating our residential roads. And so we're going to have them branch out fairly freely in as many different, relatively organic looking directions that we can do, making sure we give these houses and residences plenty of room so they don't feel like they are hemmed in anywhere. I kind of like the terrain being the way it is here because it does add an additional level of protection for the people residing, especially in these far roads here. And so once we add in a few of these cul-de-sacs, I think I have a good idea as to what we are going to be doing. If you guessed the pop musician's mansion, then you're correct. And this looks pretty cool. I like this asset. I guess they're growing some kind of fruits at the front. It's a pretty dark building, mind you, but they've got one hell of a garden. I really like the look of this. And so why should we stop here? We've also got ourselves the theatre actor mansion. When not on stage, this is where a noteworthy young thespian relaxes. I like this. And again, we've got to figure out where we're going to put this. And I think this cul-de-sac here will be the perfect place. Oh wow, this is really digging into the foothills here. But again, maybe they want that. I mean, I personally Wouldn't want my hot tub literally overlooking nothing but a dirt wall, but maybe from their perspective, it's privacy, something that they don't have much of in the real world. That's what I'm going to go with. And we've also got the Extreme Athletes Villa. And so how about we add this one on the side of the cul-de-sac, just like this? Oh, this is beautiful. And it seems like this Extreme Athlete is... Oh, no way! Oh, how cool is this? You've got... Oh man, that is awesome. I love this. You've literally got a swimming pool like on the -1 level here, and it seems like you've got some kind of massive diving board going in. Oh man, there's a lot of creativity was put into this villa. I can see that for sure. You've got like a roof terrace here. That's so pretty. I feel like it should probably exist more like somewhere sunnier. I mean, it is a villa at the end of the day. Maybe at the very least along our river, wherever that is. We can't even see the river from here, but oh well, I really like this. Now, the brief that I was given for this said that they wanted to have a super American style suburb surrounding. Now, if we're going to have a super American suburb, how about we make this gated community super American as well by, for the first time ever, enabling North American architecture? We can get ourselves some low density waterfront housing, despite we're not by the water right now. And we can start putting in some zoning for our super exclusive area that we're developing. And I think the zoning we've got here will be just about right. Coming out of our area here, we're gonna have a very grand drive with some trees lining each side. And we're gonna add some grass in. And how about we add in a little cabin here, and we're gonna stick one on both sides, which is starting to give North Korea DMZ vibes, alongside some concrete barriers as a bit of a checkpoint. So before you enter this area, you actually have to be checked. And maybe this is where we put the other utilities as well, like our post office. And considering we've got plenty of water here, how about we add a couple of towers? Maybe the people in this area only believe in drinking water that is pumped directly from where they live. I think adding a paved area around here with some traffic lights too will allow for even more of a checkpoint, with a few more decorations as well. This area is obviously not going to be educating their kids with everyone else. They wouldn't be able to stand the thought of that. And so I guess we're going to have to build an elementary school in this area for these people. And I do personally really like the look of this large one here. And I'm actually going to get rid of this because I've changed my mind on something. We're going to extend this a little bit, and we're going to turn this into an elite educational block. Basically, we're going to have our elementary school directly opposite our high school here, and we're going to stick some pavements all around. And as well as these schools serving the area here, they're also going to serve the rest of the city, almost like a grammar school we have in England. They're kind of like schools that are more specialized. You have to like pass an exam and everything. So maybe our grammar schools, or whatever we're going to call them here, reside within our wealthy district. Perhaps we actually have an access point before our checkpoint, so people from outside the city can get into the school. And we're going to change this to purely an in-road. So if you're coming from here to school, you can go this way, but then you have to exit this way and go back through our little checkpoint. Whilst we're at it, we're going to add post boxes in a couple of places and then start thinking about healthcare. This district is going to have their own, very own medical clinic just for them. And we're actually going to have a small police station outside of this area as per request of the Redditor commenter who said that they wanted to have the police station outside of the enclave because of noise concerns. And so we're going to make just a small one, and actually we're going to bring the road out a little bit and then stick the police station in here. And now we're going to create ourselves a border with trees. It's going to come from our border check here and come all the way along our hill. From a logistics perspective, I think this would actually compromise the safety because it gives burglars a place to hide along the perimeter. But to the people living here, it's providing them with a sense of security. And we're actually going to bring it behind the school, considering the school, these people's perspectives have outsiders that come here. And we're going to bring this barrier right along here. We're then going to add some texture through oak trees, because when we zoom in, you'll realize the pines actually have quite long legs. So the oaks add a bit more depth on the lower levels. And I think this should be providing the inhabitants here with a fair bit of privacy. The next thing I'm going to add are pavements. We're going to have ourselves walking paths in as many places as possible. And I was considering having a cycle path as well, until it dawned on me that these are all pedestrian walkways anyways, so there aren't really going to be many cars that these residents will have to be worrying about. Although what these pavement paths allow for... God, I'm so immature. They allow for people to visit their friends. Let's say you have yourself an extreme athlete and they want to head over to the pop musician to enjoy a very nice glass of Chianti in the evening. Well, they don't have to go all the way around these blooming roads here, despite them being an extreme athlete. I'd kind of expect they would do that. But instead, they can just go along here, across this path, assuming they don't have like a golf buggy that they probably can afford, that would just go over the grass anyways. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that these walkways allow for some flexibility with movement from house to house. The inhabitants of this very wealthy area are going to be extremely concerned with the environment, obviously, especially the very middle-class mothers who, after dropping their kids off at school, will be crying about the environment. And so we're going to actually produce our own energy for this area with some windmills that, despite us being able to put them here for more efficiency, we're going to put here visible to the entire community to make them feel better about themselves. Maybe the guilt of their tax evasion or avoidance gets cancelled out by the fact that they funded these beautiful windmills that fuel their homes. We're also going to add a fair bit of vegetation around this area. From the residents' perspectives, and I quote, "It's for their true love and passion for the environment." However, to you and I, considering we are far more perceptive and intelligent than they think we are, we know full well it is purely because this extends the tree barrier and thus a green belt, which keeps the common folk like you and I away from the peaceful living. And you know what, guys? I'm actually going to capitalize upon the fact we have some money to unlock a load more tiles here. This is going to provide us with access to our sewage system here, because we currently do not have that being served in our new wealthy district. But it also opens up the opportunity for us to add in a junction very nicely here. And we'll go for a pretty old trumpet here, which is going to connect up to a main road here via a roundabout. We're also going to give ourselves a roundabout here and pass along a very modest road directly onto this roundabout here. And now the brief basically tells me that they want a super American suburb surrounding our enclave with very high density. And so that is exactly what we're going to do. In fact, we're going to buy out these tiles as well. I mean, why not? We've got the money. And we are going to begin our super American suburbs. This 4-lane road is going to curl up here, whilst we have another one that follows here. We're going to have an additional junction here with this road connecting an immensely large community here. And now come the grids. You wanted this to be American? Well, you are going to get it. Going to build out a rough skeleton here before attaching all of these roads up. Oh my God, I'll be honest with you, as a European, this is really painful to create purely from an efficiency perspective. I see this as a beneficial thing because when it comes to efficiency, you know, everything's in a grid. It's pretty straightforward. I am not going to connect every last connection up. In fact, we're going to turn this one into an out, and this is going to be an in. This one's going to be an in, and this is going to be an out, and we'll do the same here as well, just to add a small little bit of order to this area. Our viewer also wanted cul-de-sacs for days apparently, and so I'll see what we can do about that. There is one thing I fear from what I've created, and that is the fact that these grids are pretty small, and I don't really know how many houses are going to actually spawn within these cul-de-sacs. Probably not many actually. Maybe this was a mistake. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I guess there's only one way to find out. But let's firstly zone some stuff in. Now we're going to go for the North American low density housing here. We're going to make the most of this big block here to get ourselves a wide pedestrian street, to chuck in some mixed housing so people have places to actually buy stuff. And we'll do the same with this entrance as well. For this one here, we're going to get ourselves a little alley and we're going to stretch out and put ourselves a small elementary school in. Whilst down here, we're going to stretch out to get a high school. I think this little plot here would be quite nice for a park. And so what we're actually going to do is bring out a path like this. And on one side, we're going to have a cemetery. And on the other side, we're going to stick a park cafe. And we're just going to go crazy with our pavements here to create a nice walking environment for our people before we saturate it with some North American trees, such as the London plane and linden and hickory. Very nice. Oh, those are beautiful. Let's surround our elementary school with some of these trees as well. And we'll do the same for our high school. A firehouse is most definitely needed because we currently have very little coverage for it. So we're going to bring out a small road here to stick our firehouse by. Now, I really want there to be a very distinct divide between our wealthy area here and our residential zones. And what that means is we are going to go all the way up to the borders as far as we can in these areas without pushing our luck too much. We'll stick some pure commercial on this side here, and we're going to chuck as much low density housing as we can in these areas, whilst making sure we have all of these grids pointing this direction for us to unlock and continue to expand at some point soon as well. How about just like classic America, we also have our roads follow the highways as much as we can, making sure that we make the most of every last bit of land in this urban sprawl. And maybe this would be a good place for a cul-de-sac as well. It would be painful for me to see these houses actually kiss the motorway or the highway, whatever you want to call it, as much as an American might want to. So I am going to give them a little bit of space. And so I guess there's only one thing for us to really do now, and that's for us to hit play and see how quickly everything spawns in. I mean, we've already got cars starting to head into our area. We have got a lot of spawning happening, both construction in our super wealthy residential area here, and also our American suburbs that are exploding with popularity. I purposefully left these main roads here fairly empty because from my understanding, when I look at American layouts like this, although you've got high density within, these roads here are kind of exclusively for commercial. And I guess I could put some more commercial around the place, which might make some more sense. And whilst we're at it, oh nice, look at this guys, we've just unlocked the rock musician's mansion, which is extremely convenient considering we could put his mansion somewhere here. How about we stick it right on this cul-de-sac here? We're going to destroy a couple of houses, but it really makes sense to have it here in our area. And how convenient is it that that just got unlocked literally now? And wow, commercial demand is still through the roof. And so how about we populate this block with some shops? And why not this whole street? I feel like we're missing something here. So how about we make our inhabitants that little bit happier with a playground by the elementary school. Actually, that's the high school. Okay, a playground by the high school, but also a few basketball courts and some tennis courts as well. And how great is this? I mean, you could be playing tennis whilst breathing in those beautiful fumes from the cars joining our new village. I'll be honest with you guys though, looking at our high residential demand and the fact that our grid is still pretty small, I want to unlock this tile and just expand it to the max. So stay with me here and I'll see you guys in a sec. So what do you think? I expanded our main ring road all the way around, as you can see. And I also expanded our small little zone here up into the hills. I feel like this is very much grid-based. And next episode, we're going to take those grids onto the other side of our super wealthy district here to truly encapsulate it and start heading to our great big capital city that we are yet to build. I do feel like though, before we finish this episode, it would be pretty cool if we saturated our whole wealthy area here with palm trees. I mean, at the end of the day, they are wealthy. They probably would not mind paying a ridiculous amount of money to landscape their homes with palm trees to remind them of the beautiful beaches that they visit in the summer when they are not busy working hard in the soon-to-come financial district in our capital city. So there we go, palm trees galore. I feel like adding palm trees to any kind of suburban neighborhood like this does make it feel that little bit more premium. And so here we are guys, we have developed ourselves a rich enclave suburb that has started to get surrounded by loads more suburban sprawl. I really enjoyed starting to play around with grid-based systems. Really, it's one of the first times in this game that I have experimented with it. considering my other areas have been a lot more organic. And so do stay tuned for the next episode, guys, where we expand and start to continue growing the foundations to our capital city. Before we finish for today, though, I do actually want to do something and go back to our province that we created last episode, and we are going to turn this into a district. There's a district name that I have in mind, and it comes from a very obscure reference known as Hodges Airfield, which comes from Need for Speed Most Wanted, a beautiful video game that is ancient at this point. However, considering we do have a massive old airfield right in the middle of our development here, it kind of makes sense to name it after something aviation related. As always, do make sure you like, subscribe, and hit notifications if you want to see more of this content. And feel free to leave a comment to tell me what you want to see happen next in Yellow Pine as we continue to grow and expand. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you all very, very soon.